Well, back after an exciting trip to Abu Dhabi, we finally have the chance to speak to EFC's communications manager, Guy Lazarus, about the life of an MMA communications veteran and the future of mixed martial arts in the digital sphere. So, Guy, tell us more about what you do at EFC.
So basically, we sit there, we strategize, we talk about how we're going to market each fight as it's coming up. Obviously, the majority of our focus goes towards the main event, so Henry Fadipe versus Dricus du Plessis, and then how we're going to break it down from content, videos, articles, interviews, all of that. And then there's a lot of other behind-the-scenes stuff that a lot of people won't even think about. Just if you look at the Quesa app, there's a description of the event, and someone has to write that and then copy check it, and then everyday social media copy, all day, every day. That's what we're doing.
So a lot of the work you do is social media for the EFC. Is it difficult running the social media campaign for the EFC on what is still regarded as a niche sport in South Africa?
I don't think it's difficult, but that could particularly be because I have such a vested interest in it. You know, I've been involved in martial arts since the age of 7, and this is pretty much what I love doing. So there's obviously harder days. It gets a bit difficult when there's a lot of negativity around, why is he not fighting this one, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I'm smiling every day when I go to the office because it's what I enjoy.
We'll talk about those vested interests then. You just come back from Abu Dhabi. It's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, basically the World Champions, wasn't it? What was the experience like?
Man, it was incredible. You know, I've been to Thailand for Muay Thai World Champs, and it was similar but completely different at the same time. The culture there, everyone's there obviously to win, but very friendly at the same time. I find the cultural difference between Jiu-Jitsu and MMA to be quite vast, where MMA, everyone's, you know, I'm the alpha, I have to win. Whereas I find Jiu-Jitsu, everyone's very like gentlemanly, handshaking. You literally 10-15 minutes before you're walking out, you're all sitting on the same mat warming up together. Yeah. You know, chit-chatting or being serious, whatever you want to, you know, your approach.
Yeah, it's definitely a fraternity and community feel to BJJ around the world, isn't it? Which is one of the great attractions to people young and old, male and female. How did your match go? You were competing there at these World Champs, weren't you? I was.
This was my first tournament as a blue belt.
Congratulations, well done.
One of my jiu-jitsu career goals. I lost my first fight against a Brazilian. I can't remember his full name. His first name was João from GF Team.
Okay.
He went on to come 4th overall in the division. I lost. He essentially went in for a straight ankle lock. I turned the wrong way and then felt pressure on my knee and obviously tapped. And that's it. It wasn't an illegal technique or anything like some people said. We thought at first, but when we rewatched the video, it was all good, all legal.
Well, it's still a fantastic achievement to get in there in the first place, guys. So congratulations. How did the rest of your teammates from South Africa do there?
Overall, we did really well. I mean, this is the first time, bar Penny Thomas, South Africans actually won gold. Martino da Silva from Cape Town. Wow. So he won gold in the Purple Belt Masters 1 division. So that's astounding. First South African to actually win gold. Then James Sachs from Joburg and Sheena O'Connor also from Joburg won. They both claimed 2nd place in their respective divisions. Wow. And for Sheena, I mean, I think this was the 3rd time she's been, or 2nd time. Yeah. So every time she's done significantly better. Yeah. And it's great to see that growth.
And Mark Hume, your Fight Fit Militia teammate, was out there as well. How did he do?
Yeah, he did really well. His first fight, he stuck to his game plan and won. The second one, I was actually speaking to him about it yesterday, and he just made a bit of a mistake. The guy pulled a tight spider guard, and for some reason he took his foot off the leg, and it just allowed the guy to wrap up. One of the tightest triangles I've ever seen. I mean, he sunk in the triangle, and they rolled 2 or 3 times before Mark was able to even tap.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's tough. So we've now got a South African world champ. Yeah. And what kind of support has SASCAC or the governing bodies given your team?
As far as I know, absolutely none.
And we have a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of the greatest sports on the planet, and there's been no support whatsoever from the official bodies.
As far as I know, yeah, there's none.
Yeah, that's shocking.
I know from a federational perspective, SABJJF still setting up in terms of all the official documentation and connecting with SASCAC and all of that. I'm not 100% sure on all the processes. Yeah. But it's, yeah, officially there's no support from government. Everything's either self-funded or there's the African qualifiers, but that's funded by the UAE JJF Federation themselves.
Right, okay. Well, suffice to say, I think South Africa needs to get behind its team if we're that good and we're promoting the sport worldwide as South Africans. I think we really need to get some kind of more support from the governing bodies out there. On Instagram, you posted a couple of pictures of South Africans out there. What was, I saw that on social media, there's all these South Africans in Abu Dhabi. What's going on?
Yeah, it was really rad. Two specifically stick out to me. Was the one where I think it was just after I was weighing in for my fight. So it was literally the first day. And this little, this mama in her nurse outfit comes running across the courtyard, like grabs us, and she's like, "Hey, you're from South Africa?" And we're like, "Yeah, awesome, we got a photo, you can check it on my Instagram." Unfortunately, I can't remember her name, but that was rad. She was working as a medic at the event, and she was just really happy to see South Africans being involved, because she's done it for the last like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And then the other one was, he was actually working in our hotel. He's from KZN. One of his days off, he actually came and just supported. He helped us to take photos and videos, and just celebrated when we won the title. Yeah, it was really awesome to make some new friends from South Africa but living there.
So you've got the expatriate support of South Africans out in Abu Dhabi. That's fantastic. Moving back home then, what do you enjoy most about working with the EFC? I know you have those vested interests, but what's the high point of your work at the EFC?
I think helping a sport grow, and helping athletes grow. Like, I came in, you know, there's a few guys like Tembo, who was pretty much unknown. He was on a 2 or 3 fight win streak. But watching him go from there to this world known, like, I know you guys did that whole feature. I helped you with a bit of information for that. And then now he's well known. He's fought for a title. He's fighting again soon, hopefully. You know, helping guys build careers, especially if they're coming from quite a difficult background. So
I'm going to give you a quick scattergun question. I want some quick responses. Favorite fighter in the EFC?
Mark Hill.
Mark Hill.
Partly,
not biased then.
No, it's just his attitude towards, like, look at that Gordon Rootman fight. He got smacked, he started falling over, he turned around and smiled, and he was like, yes, now it's time to fight. It's not necessarily the most exciting, but as a full package, I think he's there.
Marky and Frankenstein, I agree with you on that one. And your favorite fight in the history of the UFC?
Oh gosh, probably Leon versus Dave Mazzani sticks out.
Number 1 or number 2?
Number 2.
Right, why?
It was a back and forth war. Like, Leon had Dave in troubled situations. Dave obviously came out the victor, but he showed like how you can come with heart and battle your way through, and Leon as well just kept trying and going and going.
Okay. As communications manager at EFC, how has the organisation developed and benefited from the new deal with SABC? You're the communications manager. How's it worked out for you?
Oh my gosh, it's great. From a social media perspective, numbers are soaring organically, because every time we have, there's an episode every Saturday on SABC3. And every time I'm getting 100 new people asking, how do I become a fighter? 100 million, exaggerating numbers obviously, but new followers, new likes, a whole different culture of interaction, which I'm not used to. You know, we've been very used to a specific MMA fan, and now there's a whole new South African community that's interacting, and like, not specifically language, but the way they interact, and the culture is very different, which is a cool challenge for me as well, to learn how to interact with different South Africans.
That's absolutely fantastic. So EFC really is becoming, with its promotion of MMA in South Africa, a truly South African sport with a new audience. So what is the future of MMA in South Africa? I asked a lot of guys, but you're well placed to talk about that.
It's growing. I can only see it soaring from height to height. Obviously that requires all the relevant stakeholders to keep pushing, and obviously from EFC side, we're always working, no matter what obstacle comes up, we find a way to work around it or to continue grow. You know, it's already drawn 2 big international recognized brands, which just adds, you know, the partnership deals are probably the same. I'm not actually privy to that, but the brand equity that it adds to it is very significant. And having spoken to a lot of the athletes that have traveled, they see that the actual technical level of everyone's the same. They're all on par, and it's just a matter of getting used to that big stage. Henry Fadipe in his first fight against Tomelo, you know, you didn't see Henry like we know him. Who else was there that was really good? Rafael Haratic. I mean, he still won his fight convincingly, but Rafael from first fight against, I think it was Warren Allison, to his fight against Dricus was an entirely different animal. And the best example is Danny Henry.
Yeah.
Look how he was against Matt Bursky. I mean, he won as well, but then look how he was against Boyd and then against Eager the second time. It was, once they get used to that, you watch them getting used to the big lights.
Yeah, yeah.
And it shows that we're on that par, because these guys are coming from big teams and they've never been there.
Yeah, no, we're definitely evolving. Two very quick predictions then. Two great fights I'm looking forward to. Guy, Andrew Fansel against Vessel Mostert. Who's going to win? Very quickly.
Gosh, I have no idea. I want to go with Andrew just because he's been around longer.
Fansel and Amanda Lino and Jackie Trossier. Who's going to win that for the first women's inaugural title?
I think Amanda Lino on the repeat.
Thanks for putting it under the pressure, Guy Lazarus, Communications Manager at EFC. Thanks, mate, for coming in. Appreciate it, bud.
Pleasure.
Well, that's your lot for this week's episode of The Clinch. Don't forget, you can get hold of us through all the usual social media accounts. If there's anything whatsoever that you want to share or you want to see, please get hold of us. Join me next week for more insight, features and interviews. Thanks for watching. Be good.